what you said. It's really difficult, right? TORBY are in a spot where they're not expected to be favorites, I would say, by a long shot. I mean, to me, this is a 90-10 kind of affair, unfortunately. But I will throw in, last year, the opening match, Zeta Division, defending world champions, played against none other than Humble and got upset in month number 1. Now, this isn't a monthly finals, this is an invitational, but it goes to show it's a new year. You never know. Rama's got a little bit of experience. There's some promise from these young guns on the other end. Obviously, they're going to have to come out with a little bit of surprise, especially on a map like Dueling Beetles, where we've got those indestructible walls in the mid. I really kind of want to see them put their foot on the gas pedal, get a little aggressive, and once you gain that control, never let it go. Look how many throwers are banned, though. Farley, Larry, Lori, Sprout, and Juju, of course. Penny, one of the most paid brawlers right now, in Lou. This is obviously completely different, like we mentioned, different balance changes, and as a result, we're going to have completely different bans here.
And you mentioned you got a chance to see some players scrimming, got a sense of kind of what's to be coming for these early season games here. Anything that you were personally not expecting when you saw those patch notes, when you saw the update?
Not really. I mean, it's honestly a little different from Worlds, I would say, in the sense that last time, if you were with us, we had brawlers like Kenji, like Mo at the very, very top, and there were a couple brawlers that were must bans, if you will. Right now, I don't feel like it's that much. I feel like it's a little more evened out. I think Juju's going to be one of those brawlers. Penny's one of the most frequently played. Lou is up there as well. And Stu, who's the first overall selection, is definitely in there. There's the workhorse that I was calling out as well. Let's go.
Yeah, it's like the one throw that hasn't been banned. So I think it's the literal only option if you want to be able to pick up a throw, which is definitely something that Humble were kind of gunning for there, and they're going to pair it along with that Frank as well. The healing ability that Berry provides. And obviously, as you mentioned, the hypercharge that got added as well adds an extra dynamic to it and makes it even stronger than it already was. And yeah, definitely pairing Frank with that is a great, great option. Just the most healthy brawler in the game paired with one of the best healers is really, you can't go with this.
It's a tough one, too. I mean, they're going to throw Barry alongside that Frank. That's a pretty frequent pairing for Humble in general. It's not just a this map thing, but the idea is they have a thrower. They can apply pressure, especially when you get up at that indestructible wall. They're going to be able to throw that down, get some pressure going on the other end, but also be healing up your side. That's why they're going to respond with a Griff here. It's not bad anti-tank coverage, and also they're going to try and break those walls down with his gadget. This is a way to deal with that, and obviously the biggest of all tank counters is going to be that Colette, so they're going to try and round that out. I think this is a decent response. Stu is a great brawler. They have ways to deal with Frank. Now it's just kind of left the Humble for what that last flex pick is going to be.
And the synergy from the 3 players on this team, is that affected at all by the brawlers they choose if they have to go a little bit off role?
Yeah, I mean, I think the synergy is definitely something that Humble are going to have to kind of opt for because of the 3 or 2 major counters to Frank on the other side. They're going to really need that Berry just piling heals down on the Frank. And the B, I quite like the way they rounded out that draft there. It's definitely giving them some legs in the fight against the Griff and against the Colette, trying to keep them off the Frank. It's a great option at that long range.
All right, smart plays. The math has been mathed. The brawlers have been selected. And now, gentlemen, I'm going to hand it over to you to start our first match of the day.
Let's kick off 2025, folks. Here we go. Defending world champions Humble taking on underdog TORBY to kick things off. Like we said, this is Dueling Beetles, a very iconic roster there, and immediately Trav, they're flexing the 2024 world champion pins.
Who can blame them for it? But over the other side, we see Cappy with a quick wall break using that piggy bank to take those down. It is going to benefit Bosso if he does want to move over to that right-hand side, but at the moment, not really getting much of a look in as Semantic being pinned back. Berry's going to use that super forward, finds equals on the floor, which Semantic is going to walk over. Boss will take a second to get there, use another Berry super as well, but Rama's going to be there. Return shot is not going to be enough from Boss, as Enraged will pick it up and take the lead for TORBY.
Big time fight right there. If Enraged doesn't survive, it's a B that ends up winning that, it's going to flip. And already TORBY starting off with some aggression. Another Rattled Hive going down, Enraged, skating, Cappy dropping a super here, and now Rama on that right-hand end. His job to shadow Semantic at all costs. A Hypercharge already being activated here. Lukey on the ground as well, looking for coverage. Big takedown here. Lukey expanding right-hand side. Enraged, working, but now being forced away. This is an opportunity for Humble.
Yeah, I was surprised to see Semantic go for that super there, but it was trying to just catch that opposing team off guard and throw it somewhere that wasn't expected. The Hypercharge ready now for the Stu, and he's going ham. Going to be able to pick up 2 players here, and TORBY re-established themselves in mid, but at the time they were trying to push back. Humble had got it to 50-50 as they start to extend the lead once more. Frank has a super in hand. Boss got a lot of work to do if they want to come back here, though. Starts off with a good slow, but still so much more work to do.
Go down. Lukey with another Hypercharge here, too. Going to be covering this entire right-hand side. You can do. It's got so much coverage of the map. There's a swipe as well. Rama trying to get a takedown. Lukey dives in as well. It's going to be a trade on all sides. while trying to deal with multiple brawlers, and it's neck and neck here.
Yeah, 80% to 79. Going to be a tough situation for Torby to come back from it. In goes the Colette Super. Really nice stuff there, but 2v2. Boss gets one. Lukey might be able to get the other, and they're just going to be healing all the way to 100. Humble going to take game one, and Torby falls short.
The world champions doing exactly what I would expect them to do. Impressive stuff. Themselves a fighting chance here, to say the least. So Humble taking a 1-0 early, but Torby certainly with a chance.
Well, back for game two then. Torby, as you say, do have a chance. They seem to be in the game somewhat, and the early wall break is going to be there again. The Rattle Tide finds a few connections onto Enrage on that on the left-hand side, sorry. Colette dominating the right, Semantic pushed all the way back to spawn, Boss coming through the mid, along with Lukey healing him up. They do fall low, Colette's going to make the connection onto Lukey, but instantly he's going to spring back out, and Rama cycles nicely, allowing them to keep control and keep the lead for now.
Enrage barely surviving, Semantic left all alone, and that is not a good option for Humble. They're going to have to take a step back here. Rama now in the mid alongside his teammates, Cappy putting a little pressure down, and there's that piggy bank. It cost him his life though. Ideally you don't give that up. Now he has a little bit of extra range, but it does make things harder for Humble. They can't hide as easily.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to mind going down too much there, as Humble didn't gain too much ground or too much percentage off the back of it. Now the hypercharge comes in, but it is traded out as Rama goes down, same as the Frank. Lukey, hypercharge back in their spawn, but now the Stew's starting to come through. Pretty much unlimited heals with Gasser heal in this hypercharge pairing. They managed to get it as Cappy pinches in as well, and just Semantic surviving. That's going to be a walking super battery.
I love that. That was some cheeky stuff right there, just using the Gasso heal, just charging at that wall, smacking into it, trying to cycle in those heals, and Semantic just can't cover this ground. This one a convincing victory for Torby, who are putting up a fight here in our opening set.
Well, I mean, Rama not looking too pleased about that one. Definitely a game that they should be winning with the position they were in for the majority of that game. I think it ended about 100-20, and as soon as that wall gets broken down and as soon as we see Humble lose any control, it's just so hard to grasp any of it back whatsoever, thanks to the Colette and the Griff just pinning them all back in spawn.
That's what makes this map difficult, especially this game mode at a professional level. Once you lose control in Hot Zone, once you're in that spawn trap, it's really difficult. If you're a Barry and a Frank as well, that's a lot of ground to cover without a lot of range. It's a good thing that they have this long ranger sharpshooter in B. They're going to get some chip shots in there as well. Lukey already diving down. Remember, he charges that super off the heels as well, so the more that his teammates are doing, the more that he's kind of assisting, the better off he's going to be in general.
Yeah, a much better start from Humble this time, as Lukey able to cycle a few supers, but yet another one baited out there, and Semantic does waste his, but a hypercharge from Lukey from the right to the left-hand side will heal him up nicely, and a mid-super from Rama is going to hurt him bad. Surely able to psych it out in just a second, but it's going to go down as Semantic picks him up and gets a lovely shot onto Enrage as well, and Boss doing the exact same on the right-hand side, picking up all the control and a 50% lead.
Oh, I fear this is going to be a runaway from Humble. I mean, Torby putting up a great fight in these opening two games, but the same can be said for Humble as well. Once they're in positioning, even with this right-hand side toward down, Semantic is just hunkered down on the left. He's got another hypercharge. I mean, how many Barry hypercharges have we seen here? This is where things get tough, though. Still wins the engagement with Rama, and they're going to be walking themselves all the way to 100%. It was a close call in the opening two games, but the defending world champions will hold on in our opening set.
Ooh, gentlemen, that was a little more scary than you made it out to be for Humble's chances. Torby really came back there. How did they pull that off?
I think that, honestly, the draft was really solid. I think they were kind of anticipating what Humble were doing. I mean, in scrims, what we've seen from them last year, a pretty typical pick, especially on this map, is going to be a Barry plus an aggressor. They love this Frank. That's one of the most prominent brawlers in the meta right now across the world. It's going to be your kind of tank of choice. I think since World Finals, there's less tanks that have kind of been in the mix, but these tank counters still work great. We had Colette go in there. We had Griff to open up the map, and Stu's just a very solid brawler in general. I mean, he can get in and out so quickly. I really didn't mind this from them. I thought it was a solid showing. Obviously, it doesn't win you the set, and ultimately that's what matters, but that gave me hope that they can put up a good fight.